Yes, happy to. Thanks for having me. So I'll start with a piece of very good news. We just signed a lease with a bubble tea cafe for Coach Scott's space.
Oh.
So I'm very, very pleased in a number of fronts. You know, one, it's a new lease, and it's if you're not familiar with bubble tea, there are various bubble tea locations around the city and beyond, and it's quite a following. They will also serve some desserts, but no cooking. The other reason I'm very excited is because, you know, as we all know, Coach Scott had to close, and in less than a year, we've been able to sign a lease in this space. So I think that's really phenomenal, and speaks to something that I'm sure everyone has questions on, which is kind of like what the strategy is and how we get these spaces leased quickly. And I think one of the things that really made this transaction move quicker is it was a ready-to-go space. So we're working on making all of our spaces as ready to go as possible, with lights in the right places, and where you turn the switch and the lights come on, and where a potential tenant can walk in and see the vision of what it can become and not see a daunting amount of work. So,
does that include upgrading some of the spaces for current code?
Yep, bringing the spaces up to code, exactly. So another good example of where we've seen success in that is Paul Calandrillo's gallery, where we were able to bring the space up to code, you know, get the utilities all connected, and have him as a pop-up tenant. And hopefully soon I can announce a lease signed for that space. We're in negotiations with a tenant. So that seems to work, that methodology of getting a space ready.
Is there a restaurant in that place?
Yes.
There is?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's...
What's the nature of that franchise?
The bubble tea?
Yeah.
It's actually...
I never heard of it either, David, so don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. I was on Jeopardy.
It's separate from a franchise. It's an operator that has a few other that are with a franchise called BB Bubble Tea. But this one is not BB, it's separate.
It's a thing.
Oh, what is the nature of it?
It's
Bubble
actually
tea. So bubble tea is tapioca in a drink. I'm not a big bubble tea consumer, so I'm not going to speak to this as well.
It's a lot of...
People love it, kids love it, college students love it. It makes sense, actually, for, I think...
People who smoke marijuana.
David, it's like a peach Snapple with some beads of tapioca at the bottom.
And it's very popular, yes.
Yeah.
We're saying this to people who spend their whole lives avoiding tapioca.
Exactly. Oh, what's that jelly stuff on the bottom?
Yeah, look at that.
Only the last 7
I'll stick with the hard stuff.
Yeah.
I'm drinking iced tea. It's going to be Long Island iced tea.
Do you know if some of the other spaces that were announced are in progress? For example, the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, so what's going on with both the cafe at 503 Main Street and the Mexican restaurant at 548 Main Street is they're in design and getting ready to start work. So the Mexican restaurant has actually started their filing process, so that can, you know, take as long as filing takes, and how long DOB will take to approve the plans for work, but design is done, and same with the cafe. So they're on a similar track, actually, and we have some landlord work that we're doing as well on a parallel track, and it's frankly hard for me to estimate when they will open until they start work and we see how that kind of moves along, but you know, I'd be happy to give a better update on timing to open, when that actually happens, and when they get their filings.
Is there anything you can tell us about the trellis? I get stuff there.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a few of you about this, and I think it's very hard to hear the same thing over and over, and we certainly acknowledge that. It's a story of a very good intentioned operator who has had every misfortune happen to him during this renovation process. And I sit down with Kay monthly and talk to him about what's going on. It's really one delay in particular that he's experienced. I think, you know, we're all aware that New York City in general has been, there's been more scrutiny over gas and plumbing related issues because of explosions that have occurred, and he's had plumbing work that, you know, one inspector has come in and said it should be done this way, and the next person is totally different and it should be done that way. That's just one thing of many that's happened to him.
We've experienced those kind of problems when you have different inspectors.
And he, we have no reason to believe that he is not going to open. He will open. It will happen. He has put a lot into this.
There was apparently a notice on the door saying he was in arrears for $100 and something thousand.
Which shouldn't be too much of a surprise. It should not have been posted on the door. That was should not have happened. But at a certain point, you know, we need to actually. We're trying to encourage him to open, but also say, you know, he still needs to make sure these arrears are not continuing in the same way that they have, and if you can pay toward that. So we have a deal with him when he opens to pay those off. So.
A little assumption. Maybe you don't know, Roosevelt Island, everybody's smarter than everybody else, and everybody knows everything about everything. So when that arrears notice doing it, there was quite the little tempest in the teapot by the people who think they know stuff.
Right.
But then they know nothing about real estate. You'd probably be getting one of those a month, you know, the entire time.
Right, exactly. It wasn't, yes, we've had that conversation with him many times, and this time it was posted on the door, and it, absolutely.
There's really still no target date. I mean, every time he or Alex come, they say, "Oh, we'll open in 2 weeks."
Yeah, I mean,
it's the proverbial 2 weeks. Keep going.
I know that he's waiting for another inspection because of the corrections he made with the plumbing work. He got back in line for a re-inspection. So it's exactly.
One other space that was possible was going to be a child daycare, and that fell apart.
Yeah.
There's nothing else pending.
No, but to my point earlier, we've had a lot more interest in that space from potential tenants. Our broker has already toured a couple of different food uses in that space. I think when a space is ready and ready to move in, or when you're ready to move in, it gets a lot more attention. So nothing firm, but some good leads.
Okay. Any questions for me? Anyone else?
Has anybody approached you with the idea of putting a decent bar on the house?
Well, both the cafe and the Mexican restaurant are going up for liquor licenses. No bar. That's, you know, but there will be, the Mexican restaurant is trying to get a full liquor license, and the cafe wine and beer.
Rick O'Connor, Russell
So just to recap, as of now, the Mexican restaurant and the juice bar are not expected to open during the summertime. Is that?
This summer, no, they're in design. They're beginning, pre-development.
Okay, and in terms of the bubble tea place, is it just the Scott's space, the Coach Scott's space, and it's not any adjoining store?
Correct.
And there'll be indoor seating?
Yeah.
Outdoor seating?
No, not, no plans for that.
Okay, and will the pop-up art gallery find another space on Main Street?
Yes, when a space is ready, we will have that conversation with Paul, but we don't have a space that's ready in that way right now.
Okay, and over the last few months, has the the reaction from potential retailers regarding leasing space on Roosevelt Island, has that changed over the last year or so? Because in the past, was that there's just not the foot traffic here. Have you noticed anything differently?
It's a hard question for me to answer because my time on this project has been a year and a half, so it's not, I don't have that pre-year and a half to compare it to. Not in my time, it hasn't picked up tremendously, but I think, you know, we all know the campus is opening in August, so, you know, we hope that there will be more momentum and traction.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. No other questions?